Yes.
Thank you. You can be seated. And when you're seated, please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
Okay. My name is Dara Hass. My last name is Hass, H-A-S as in Sam.
Okay.
S as in Sam.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Ms. Haas. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good. So, how are you employed?
I work for Broward County Schools.
Okay, and are you assigned to a specific school?
Marjory, Stoneman, Douglas.
Okay, and where is Marjory Stoneman Douglas?
It's in Parkland.
Okay, and how long have you worked at Marjory Stoneman Douglas?
I started there in the fall of 2016, and I'm currently still there.
26 years?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I started in 2016.
Okay.
And I'm still there.
Okay.
Currently.
And were you in school or were you employed prior to 2016?
I was working at other schools within Broward County.
Okay, how long have you been a teacher?
About 15 years, I believe.
Okay, and what do you presently teach?
English.
I'd like to call your attention to February the 14th, 2018. What were you teaching then?
Yes.
And what were you teaching?
English.
And were you assigned to a particular classroom?
Yes, I was in 1216.
And 1216 is located where?
In the 12 building at Marjory Stoneman Douglas.
The 1200 building or the freshman building?
Correct.
Okay. And you were in 1216?
Correct.
And that was your classroom?
Yes.
How long prior to February the 14th, 2018, was that your classroom?
It had been my classroom that year and the previous year.
Okay, so approximately 2 years?
Correct.
Okay. So I want to call your attention to that date of February the 14th, 2018. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
What time does school start at Marjory Stoneman, or did school start at Marjory Stoneman Douglas back on February the 14th, 2018?
7:40.
Okay, and what time do classes end?
2:40.
All right, and fourth period, were you teaching fourth period?
Yes.
And what classroom?
And I was teaching fourth period in 1216.
Okay, and what time does your last period start?
I think it was 1:10. I'm not sure.
It's an hour and a half or 90-minute class?
Yes, it's 90 minutes.
Okay, and is it English? It's not specific English class?
It would be English 1
Okay.
with the freshmen.
Okay, all right. So during fourth period, Ms. Haas, tell us what happened.
So in the fourth period class, the students were working. They were working quietly on their assignment. And we heard the pop, 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 the sounds of the gunshots.
Okay.
It happened quick. And my first instinct was it was a drill, so I went to shut the blinds, but the sound, it was so loud. I remember shaking and telling the students to go where they needed to go. It was a drill, and the students were screaming. Students were coming to my desk and screaming and shouting and coming over to any area they could. I turned around quickly, and that's when I saw that it was not a drill. One of the students was injured. He didn't have time to make it out of his desk.
And who was that, Ms. Haas?
That was Alex Schachter.
Okay.
He got injured very quickly. It happened very fast in the classroom. I quickly called 911, and as I called 911, I texted my husband, to call 911, that this was an emergency. The sounds were loud, and they were just a lot of them. the room filled with smoke. It was hazy. The kids were doing their best they could to get to safety in a classroom that has nowhere to go. We just tried our best to follow the direction of the 911 that said to, stay quiet and to do our best while help was on the way. It was hazy, and you could smell the sulfur from the guns, and debris was flying across the room, and the students were crying, and so many students had been injured, and all of a sudden it was quiet. There had been so many gunshots and so many sounds, whether it was sounds in the hallway or shooting in the room, I didn't know. And then all of a sudden it was quiet. We heard a little yelling in the hall, and there was punching at the window on my door where it had shattered, but it didn't break. And terrified, I remember staring at the door and the punching, and when the arm came in, I saw the emblem of the police, and I knew that they had come in, and the team came in, and they took the students out. But it was hard for me to leave because I wanted to stay with the students that couldn't go, and the police officer told me to quickly get out and that he would help the students that were still there that had been very injured. It was Elena Petty.
Who? I'm sorry?
Elena Petty.
Elena Petty. Where was Elena?
She was by my desk.
Okay. How about Alyssa Alphadeck?
She was on the floor.
Okay.
In the classroom, and the police officer quickly helped me out of the classroom, out of the building, and an officer assisted me to the sidewalk where I was met by William Olson, who was covered in blood, and I asked him if he was injured, if it was his blood, and he was in shock and didn't know, and he thought he was injured. We took him to the EMT, but as soon as I got there with him, I prepared to stay with him, but Samantha Fuentes,
She wasn't in your class, was she?
She was not in my class, but she had gotten my attention because she was so injured that she needed assistance as well, and I got her to the EMTs and helped other students, and the police then escorted me to the Holmberg corner. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you mentioned Alex Schachter's, you saw him shot, and Elena Petty and Alyssa Alphadeck. How about Kashava Magaporum? Was he in your class?
Yes, he was. I remember Kashava. He was in front of my desk, and I still remember his face because he was injured as well. And he was in there with, there was Justin Colton, there was Justin, Kashava, Genesis. I know William
Genesis Valentin? Is that
yes,
okay.
She had been injured.
Did you mention William Olson?
William Olson, yes. And also Alex Dorrit.
Dorrit, okay.
Had been injured as well in the classroom.
All right, so did you see the shots first come in your window?
No, it happened so fast.
Okay.
There was debris flying over, whether it was the
Okay.
shots or that, I'm not sure.
Okay. Did there come a time where more shots came in after a short time afterwards?
Yes.
Do you know how much time between the first set of shots and the second set?
I don't. It just all seemed to happen so quick.
Okay. Okay. Let me show you. No, I've showed this photograph.
No.
I want to show you State's Exhibit marked 2Y for identification. Do you recognize that person?
Yes, it's Alex Schachter.
Okay, it's Alex Schachter, and I'm going to show you 2Z.
Alyssa Aladoff.
And 3A.
Alina Petty.
Okay, Your Honor. Yeah, I know for these.
Is there any objection? It states 2Y for identification will be received as states 32. States 2Z for identification will be received as states 33. And states 3A will be received as states 34.
I don't have any further questions of Ms. Haas, but if the defense doesn't object, I'll show the photographs to the jury
Oh, later, John?
after she leaves. There's no reason,
Oh,
unless they object to that.
okay. Do you have any questions for this witness? Okay, thank you, ma'am. You're excused. Mr. Sachs, are these photos for the public view or?
No, we're not going to show them.
Just for the
Thank you,
jurors
Ms.
and
Haas.
the attorneys? Okay,
Okay?
yes.